Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. It's Vesna here. For today's video, I'm going to be bringing to you 4 different Easter DIYs that you can do on a budget. So to start, I'm going to be using this Happy Easter sign from the Dollar Tree, which I purchased for $1.25 because our Dollar Tree is $1.25 here. And I'm going to be using it to create a nice little hop sign. And what's great about this is I'm going to reuse the whole sign. I'm going to take it apart, but I'm going to reuse the whole sign so that way none of it will go to waste. I start with removing the staples from the back to get the little rope off. I thought I would keep the rope, but then I wound up cutting it after. It doesn't really matter how you take it out. I just decided to do it this way, thinking that I might even use the other side too for something. I didn't wind up using it, but you can take it out any way you want. I'm just taking it apart carefully, and then I'm going to be filling the holes at all the holes at the front with some putty just so that they are covered. I'm going to be taking the nose off. I thought I would be able to leave the face as is, but when I took the nose off and the little bow, some of it peeled off, so I wound up painting it. I did remove the nose carefully because I wanted to be able to keep it, but even if I was careful, the glue was really stuck on there, so it did take off some of the paint, so I just wound up sanding it down and painting it white. You will most likely have to do that as well, unless you're lucky and it doesn't take not even the paint, it's whatever that paper is that's on there off. You want to make sure you sand it off because it'll smooth off wherever the paper came off, so it's somewhat even, and so it doesn't show too much when you paint it. And I'm just using the Rust-Oleum chalk linen white paint to paint over this bunny. Once I have this bunny painted, I go ahead and I paint the letters. I bought these wooden letters at the Dollar Tree. I bought an H and a P. However, I didn't actually buy an H. I bought an N, which we wound up cutting with my husband, and I wound up gluing it to make an H. So what he did was he cut off the middle part of the N, and then I just flipped the sides over because the way the N is. And he cut down the middle part to make it look like an H. I just measured out how big this P was, and that's what I did. And I just used some wood glue to glue it together. I did this because I could not find an H anywhere, so I wound up just doing it this way. And then I also painted out a paint stick, and I used one of the longer ones that I had from a project, and I painted it out white because that'll be the base for my hop. So here I just show you how I glued it, and this is what I mean by I flipped it over so that the top you would see the nice edges of the N, and then the bottom, as you can see, he just could not cut it for it to look this way, so I told him to just leave it and that I would cover the bottom so you wouldn't be able to see it. It's obviously better if you can find the H, but I went to 2 Dollar Trees and they did not have it, so I just improvised. I could have also used maybe like cardboard and just cut a few pieces and glued them together for the H and the P, but I decided to do it this way. So after I've painted and dried everything, I go ahead and I distress the sign, and I'm just using some black acrylic paint, and I'll just be putting a little bit on the brush and dabbing it off to give it that aged look. And as you can see, I did not paint the whole bunny sign really well. I left it kind of roughly painted, and that was because I was going to be distressing and just added to it. Now I did add a little bit of white into the black just so it wasn't such a strong black color. So it was a little bit lighter, maybe like a really dark gray. And then I just go ahead and I distress the sides and all over the bunny, as well as the letters and the base. I also distressed the carrots a little bit with that black just to have them kind of match the distressed look of the bunny. And I distressed the base, the paint stir stick as well. I start with attaching the nose because that's going to be my center, and from there I know where I need to draw the eyes and how big I need to make them, as well as the whiskers. I'm just using a black Sharpie to do this. If you are talented enough, you can use a brush. I'm not very good with the fine point brushes. Maybe I don't have good ones. They always kind of wind up looking a little bit sloppy. You could also use, if you want to cut out vinyl stickers, you could do that as well. But this was just as easy and it was very simple to do. Once I did my distressing, I attached the letters and the bunny. I attached the first letter so I could see where I wanted and how much room I needed for the bunny. And then I attached the second letter. Now the bunny was kind of falling down just on its own. So then I added these little cubes from the Dollar Tree on the back, and I did them quite high just so that the bunny would stick a little bit better. I did use a combination of wood glue and hot glue to attach the bunny, and then I just hot glued the carrots. But as you can see, when I flipped over, that's where I found out that I needed a bit more, and I just kind of made a base for the bunny at the bottom, and then I just built them up a little bit. And that helped the bunny stay. If you're finding that this isn't working, what you could do, so because you can see I played around with it quite a bit, what you could do is build out that bottom part with 2 tumble block pieces of wood and just glue those on and have the bunny stick to that, and then that way it's sticking to a flat surface rather than the round trying to stick to the base. But I didn't have any tumble blocks, so this is what I did. And like I said, once I played around with it a bit and built it up a bit more, it did wind up sticking. And that's all there is to this DIY. It cost around $3, very inexpensive, and I think it looks really cute. And it's something that you could find at like a Winners or a Marshalls for sure. That would be definitely a lot more than $3. So here it is. I absolutely love the way it turned out. Let me know what you think. This DIY is a part of the Heidi Sonboul DIY challenge. She hosts these challenges often. If you haven't checked them out, make sure you check out her channel, which I'll have linked in my description below. And there you can see in her playlist all the challenges she's hosted. Also, while you're there, check out her videos. She's really, really talented. She's a true crafter and does some amazing DIYs. And she's really nice and super fun to watch. So make sure you check her out. And there will be a playlist which will be linked in my description below. So make sure you check that out as well. Usually this playlist attracts a lot of DIYers and a lot of talent. So check it out. Everything will be linked in my description. So what we had to do was create an Easter themed DIY. So as you can see, that's what I'm doing. So let's move on to the next DIY. So this next DIY is not a Dollar Tree DIY, but it's a Trash to Treasure DIY, which you could easily make a Dollar Tree DIY. But what I did was I used these wooden blocks that I had from a different project, and I wanted to use these little bunnies too, but they were too big for the pieces of wood that I had. So what I'm doing actually is just taking one of the bunnies, and I'm going to be cutting it out, but a lot smaller than what the actual drawing is. And I'm drawing it on just this transfer paper, or sorry, shelf liner that I have from the Dollar Tree, and I'm basically using it as a stencil. I could have used my Cricut and done it with the Cricut, but I decided, in case you guys don't have a Cricut, this is a way that you could do it easily. And I will be using this as a stencil, and I'll just be, because it's sticky, so I'll be sticking it to each of the blocks and then painting the blocks different colors, but you'll see what I do. But if you didn't have wood, you could easily use one of the dice from the Dollar Tree, or sometimes they have little coasters that are ceramic, so you could use those. Really anything you could use that you can find that's a square shape from the Dollar Tree. They even have the little Rubik's cubes that I've painted before in the past too. So really it's anything that you can find that's this shape, and you could also glue many pieces of cardboard together to get the shape. So, and I think the Dollar Tree in the States has more wood type of things than our Dollar Tree does, because I know I've seen some people use the little palette wood for things, which you could, like the little mini palettes, which you could use for this as well. But anyway, this was a piece of a 2x4 that I had, and I just cut it into 3 pieces. But it wasn't the full 2x4, it was just a little scrap piece that I had left over. So I was originally going to make them all one pale pink color, but then I decided that I wanted to make them different colors. But for the pink color, I had mixed some of the cotton candy pink with a little bit of black, just to make it kind of just a more pale kind of, I want to say like a dirty pink, but I don't know how else to describe it. But it's just a little bit of black mixed with pink, and it's just to give it a little bit of a more rustic look, I think. But so I'm not painting them fully because I wanted the bunny. So I'm painting one of the blocks in a combination of this lime green and forest green, and then the other block will just be a gray color, and it was just some black and white that I mixed together. And it's just to achieve a little bit of a more pastel-y green and a pastel grayish black color. And I just paint the blocks again, not the whole thing because I'm adding that stencil, and I just want the little green to be peeking out. And the gray. So here they are all painted out, and then what I do is I go ahead and I just stick the bunny on, and then I paint over the blocks in this chocolate and white paint, and that's all there is to that. Let them dry. So if in case you guys haven't been to my channel before, again, my name is Vesna, and this is my main channel. On this channel, I do DIYs, thrift flips, furniture flips, trash to treasures, Dollar Tree DIYs, basically any kind of DIY home decor on a budget is what you can find here. It could be seasonal, it could be things that you could use for around the house, anything like that, or any furniture that I can find that would fit into my decor. I do it and I make it over. So that's the kind of stuff you like. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. I have two other channels. I have a cooking channel and a home channel. So if you want to see how I display these things, head on over to my home channel, and that's where I do all of my decorating. I actually have a video coming out on Wednesday. Two videos. I have one on my DIY channel and one on my home channel, and it's a St. Patrick's Day themed DIY and decor. So if you're interested, come on back on Wednesday. If you haven't subscribed to my channels, hit that big subscribe button, hit the notification bell, give me a thumbs up, let me know that you stopped by. I would love to hear from you. So again, once they dried, I just wanted to distress them so they kind of matched all of the different pieces that I made. So what I did was I just added a little bit of that gray-black combo that I had left over, and I just dry brushed the edges just to distress them a little bit. So here they all are all finished. These will be great either on my mantle or in one of my trays. I haven't decided yet, but I love them so much. So this next DIY is another simple DIY. It is a Dollar Tree DIY. So I'm using these jumbo craft sticks as well as the bunny form, all from the Dollar Tree. The bunny form came in a pack of 8, 9, I believe, a big pack of them. And the jumbo craft sticks come in a pack of 20, I think, or 18. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be making kind of like a little sign from this. So I'm using 2, 4, 6, I believe, 6 craft sticks, one over top of the other, and then another 2 on the sides. And I will be hot gluing everything together, and then I'm going to be staining it using my Rust-Oleum decorative glaze in Java. I will just clarify, I added one more jumbo craft stick, and I'm going to be using 7 craft sticks plus the 2 on the side, so 9 altogether. And I will be staining everything, and then I'll be painting everything. Now, I wanted the front to have the little sticks on the side, so I just went to make it a little bit stronger. I put some popsicle sticks on the back just to kind of reinforce the little sign. And then I'm going to be covering the bunny in this buffalo check in black and white, this checker pattern in black and white. I got this at the Dollar Tree as well. I got it around Christmas time. I don't know if they have it all year long, but I picked it up then. And I'm just going to be Mod Podging him in this fabric. So what I'm going to do is just cut out a piece as close to what I need as I can, and then I'll Mod Podge it and just kind of glue the excess on the back and cut it out as close as I can to the edge. So I put Mod Podge on the bottom of the fabric and on top of the fabric once I've put it on the wood, so like on the bottom of the wood, and then I put it on top of the fabric. So just make sure you let this dry off before you try to work with it, because sometimes it gets a little bit sticky. So then I go ahead and I paint over top of the sides. I just want it to look like it's framed in this little picture. So I add some white paint, but I'm putting the white paint in a container that had black paint in it, so it's not completely white. It'll give it that little grayish white color, and because I'm painting over top of the brown, it just gives a really kind of rustic feel. And I've also attached some jute rope at the top, just with some glue, hot glue, just in the back at the top, so that if you wanted to hang this, you could. If you just wanted it as a decoration, you could. I will most likely be using this in my tray. So you could leave the sides as is with the white grayish paint, but I decided that I want this to look like it's truly framed in, so I wound up adding another 2 craft sticks, so you actually need 11 on top, and doing the same thing, stain and paint, as I did with the other one. I just think it gives it a little bit more of a complete look, but you could do it either way. I then just make a little burlap bow out of burlap ribbon that has, the adhesive burlap ribbon. I'm using this because it was the thinness that I wanted, I guess, and I thought it would stick, but doesn't stick the best, so even if you use regular burlap, it would be fine. And I just make a tiny little bow at the top, and I add some greenery to it just to give it a little bit of more of a spring touch. And the greenery that I'm adding, I don't know what it's called. It's from the Dollar Tree. It comes in like a little bunch, like a little pick. I also add some of that checkered fabric into it too, to make it look like it's like a true bow with dimension. So I still wanted to add a little bit more detail to the bunny, so I add like a little bow to the bunny. The bow is made out of twine, and I just kind of wrap some twine around in a loop and twist it to make it look like a bow, and I hot glue it to the bunny's, like around the bunny's neck, so it looks like the bunny's wearing a little bow. So here is the finished piece. Let me know what you think of him. For the very last DIY, I'm using some more scrap wood. I just have these little, if you've watched my videos before, you saw that my husband brought me back these little small planks of wood that came in some sort of packaging that they were throwing out at his work. So I just cut one little leftover piece in half, and I am painting it out in a mixture of this cashmere tan acrylic paint, which I've put into that little container where I had the black paint, so it kind of gives a little bit of a darker brown paint. And I wanted to show you this because I'm using it kind of like a stain. So I'm putting it on, I put it on liberally, and then I'm taking a wet wipe and I'm just wiping it off so it looks like it's staining the wood in this light brown color. I'm using these bunnies again, and I am just taking a piece of shelf liner and I am covering them in this, I'm covering the bunny in this shelf liner, cutting it as close as I can to the actual bunny so it takes its shape. And that's all there is to it. I've chosen this diamond pattern teal and white shelf liner because I think it's a very nice Easter color. And then I'm also doing it in one of these floral black and white shelf liners. These are all shelf liners that I had left over from other projects, so I didn't have to purchase them. And I'm just going to hot glue the bunny down, and I'll wrap each piece of wood, one at the top, one at the bottom, in twine. And again, that's all there is to these projects. Really easy. It cost me, well, under $1 really, because these wood bunnies come in a pack for $1.25, and the twine comes in a big roll and I only used a little bit, and the shelf liner I had on hand. So after I get everything glued on, I just want to make it a little bit lighter and look a little bit more distressed. So I add some of the warm white acrylic paint onto the wood plank as well, just to give it a little bit more color. And I do the same for the other piece. I think I had said that the other piece was going to be the black and white shelf liner, but it's black and white floral scrapbook paper. But they do have shelf liner like this as well. I just didn't have any on hand, and I wanted this color, so I'm just Mod Podging this one to the bunny, same way I did in the previous project, and then cutting it to size. So here they are all finished. I think these ones are really cute too. Again, you can use them anywhere. I will likely be using them in my tiered tray decor. And I just love the way they turned out. Let me know what you think. So here are all of the pieces together. Let me know which one you think is the best one, which one is your favorite. I don't know if I have a favorite one. I really love the way the hop one, I love the way they all turned out, but I love the hop one. I think it's going to look great on my mantle. And I'm really happy with the way it turned out, and that I could use the whole sign and not have to leave things for a different project. I really like that too. Let me know what you thought. Check out the playlist. Check out Heidi. And don't forget to stop by my channel next Wednesday for my new video. Thank you so much for stopping by. Have an excellent day and stay safe, everyone.